today we are gonna, before we get started with anything property tracker related, because that's what I really want you guys to get out of this, is a deep understanding of property tracker. I want to talk very briefly about MyDesk because there is some crucial information that comes from MyDesk that relates to property tracker and several other areas of John L. Scott. So to get to MyDesk, we go to jlsmydesk.com, JLS MyDesk. To log in, you're going to use your John L. Scott email and your John L. Scott password. And we end up here. With this, we are in the dashboard of MyDesk. In the upper right corner is a very important area that accesses a crucial feature of MyDesk. In the corner, we see there's the 85 going on right here. You might see your picture, you might see your initials, there might be nothing there at all. When you hover over that area though with your mouse, you're going to notice there's a white triangle that comes up. When I click on the white triangle, I get a drop down, and I'm going to come here to Profile. This is your profile for John L. Scott. Your profile is critical area. Hey, Joe, can you please mute? I'm hearing myself on feedback.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So with the profile here, this is an area where you put information into MyDesk, and it is carried to several other parts of the John L. Scott website. This is where you have your name appear as you would like it to. So for example, if Daniela wanted to go by Danny instead, you could change this to Danny, or if Joseph wanted to go by Joe, you could change it to Joe. That's where this information comes in. It also lets you pick a title. You're able to enter designations and awards. If you speak any languages other than English, you can type those languages in here, and anytime somebody searches for somebody who speaks that language, it will come up you will come up as a broker on the John L. Scott site. So for example, if I spoke Basque, I could select Basque here as a language, and then anytime somebody was looking for a broker who spoke Basque, I could click on that, or my name would come up. Scrolling down, we want to make sure that we have phone numbers in here and your correct email address. If you go over here, you can hit the edit button on any phone number, and you can make it, you can change it if you need to. You can change the label. If I need to add a new phone number, I can hit the plus sign here, and I can type in whatever phone number I want, give it a label. If it's my mobile, my cell, if I'm old school and still got that pager, I can put that in there. And then I can hit add, and it will appear here in my list of phone numbers. In addition, here under social media and custom links, I can put in my Facebook account, my Twitter account, my LinkedIn, any social media account you use, you can input in here. This section down here, MLS membership. If you do nothing in the class today other than this part right here, it will be worth it as long as you take care of this. With the MLS membership, it's absolutely crucial that you put this in if you don't see an MLS number there. If it's blank and there's no MLS membership, like on my page, like you see right here, it means that anybody that goes to your website will not be able to search for homes, period. Okay? They'll see a map, they'll be able to search the area, but no matter where they are, it will say no homes are available. To add in that MLS membership, you hit the plus sign here. You're going to put in the Northwest MLS, because that's the MLS in the area we're in. and you're going to put in your lag number. If this were mine, I would put in my lag number and hit add. Because I have admin mode, basically, it doesn't work for me, so I'm going to hit cancel, but normally I would hit add, and my MLS number, or the MLS and my MLS number would appear here, showing me that I have successfully added that. Anytime you make any changes to this page, you're going to make sure you go to the Save button down here at the bottom. All right, is that clear for everybody? Questions on this page? Super important. Okay, moving on. With MyDesk, I want to talk about Property Tracker next, and kind of the best practice for adding people and understanding how clients view Property Tracker. Property Tracker is a tool that is available for your clients to use that allows them to save favorite properties, save searches, and be emailed updates on those searches, okay? So let's pretend that I am a client right now, okay? And I'm going to pick on Cindy, and I'm going to go to Cindy's website. Okay, so this is Cindy's website. Everyone who is a broker at John L. Scott has their own personalized website. It's going to be the root of your email address, .johnlscott.com. So Cindy's email is cindym@johnlscott.com. So her website is cindyme.johnlscott.com. My website would be collin.n.johnlscott.com because my email address is collin.n@johnlscott.com. Does everybody understand that? Okay. If I'm a client and I've come to Cindy's website, I'm going to put in an area I'm interested in searching. Let's say 98059. I'm going to hit search. And it zooms me into 98059. So I obviously want to set some criteria here. I'm going to go here and hit criteria, and I'm going to put my price, my minimum is $1 million because that's what I want to spend. I want at least 3 bedrooms, at least 2.5 baths, and that'll be good. And what do you know? I see this perfect property here. It's just under $3 million. I click on it, shows me where it is. I click on it again. I can take a look at the pictures here. Hey, this looks great. So I come down here and I see, oh, it's Cindy. I'm going to go ahead and put in my name and address to request an in-person showing, hit send. Cindy would then get an email from me. It actually would come from the John L. Scott system with my contact information, letting her know that I would like to see the property, and Cindy can reach back out to me and find out what's going on. If you are on your website and somebody requests information on a home or requests anything at all, that information goes back to you. There is never anybody who gets in the middle of that. I don't come in and get your leads. There's not some John L. Scott e-leads division that takes your leads. It comes back to you. If you get a lead and you don't do anything with it, nothing happens to that lead. Okay, we're not here poaching your leads. Does that make sense to everybody? That's really important to understand. I am going to close this here. Let's say I'm a client and I've looked at all these homes, and maybe I've called Cindy and I want to get some information on it some more, but really I'd like to save this search so I can come back to it. To do that, I'm going to hit the Save button up here as a client, and it's going to ask me to sign up for a Property Tracker account. I cannot save a search or save a favorite without a property tracker account on John L. Scott. If I'm a client, this is how I would go about signing up for Property Tracker. Because I am on Cindy's website, if I were to sign up for Property Tracker, I would then be Cindy's client on Property Tracker. My account is associated with her because I'm doing it on her website. So this is how a client would sign up for Property Tracker. And I think it's really important that you get in there and you play with your own website, and you maybe, if you have an email address that's not a John L. Scott address, you come in and you play with Property Tracker as though you were a client, because your clients are going to ask you questions about how to do this. So if you want to find out how to sign up as though you were a client, you probably want to get in and do that. If I want to see how to save a favorite property, which is by hitting one of these hearts over here next to the property. So we looked at this one already. If I wanted to save that as a favorite, I would tap that heart. If I tap that heart, it's going to ask me to sign up for a Property Tracker account because I need a Property Tracker account to save anything. Now, in general, we would rather sign up our own clients for Property Tracker because it ensures that they sign up with us. To do that, if I am a broker who is signing up their client for Property Tracker, meaning I'm not a client doing it, if I have a client who says they want a Property Tracker account, to sign them up for Property Tracker, the best way to do that is to go to MyDesk and click on the Contacts tab over here on the left. If you're on MyDesk, this gray bar here will always be here on the left. I click on Contacts, and that's going to take me into my contacts. Now, I'm going to pretend for a second like I'm Cindy. Now, if I'm Cindy and I have a client that I would like to add to my Property Tracker account, I would go up here to the upper right corner and I would hit Add. The first thing I need to do is enter some information about this person. In order to sign somebody up for a Property Tracker account, I need two pieces of information. I need their name and I need their email address. That's it. Those are the only two things I need. There's space for me to put more, and if you have more, I encourage you to do it. But if you just have their name and email, that's enough. So I'm going to put in this information, and Cindy, don't worry, I'm going to delete this before we're done here today. Now, if I had a phone number for Homer here, I can put that in. And if this is a cell number, I want to be sure to check that SMS box. SMS is, I think it stands for Short Message System or something like that, but it basically means texting. So if this is a phone that can receive text messages, I check that box. Once I have that information in, I hit Next. If I have their address, I can put that in here. It's not required though, but if you do have it, I recommend you do put it in. I'm going to hit Next again. And it's going to ask me about what category this contact belongs to. I'm not going to get into categories today. Categories is a hour-long class of itself, so we don't really have time to do that today. It's optional, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit Save. Okay, so I've got Homer Simpson right here, and he's now my client. Now, if I want to sign up Homer for Property Tracker, I haven't done that yet. The only thing I have done with Homer so far is to add him as a contact in my contact list on MyDesk. To add a Property Tracker account for him, I would go here to this Property Tracker button, click it, and it would drop down. It would say this contact does not yet have a Property Tracker account. You can create one now. I'd like you to pay close attention here, okay, because this is really important. when I have a client who is who I'm signing up for a property tracker account, it is absolutely crucial that I get their permission before creating a property tracker account for them. Let me tell you why. If I worked in email marketing, that was my job, and I had a client come to me and they said, Collin, I want you to create an email campaign for my product. And I put in a bunch of work, I created the email campaign and I sent it out. And after the first couple of days, I checked my open rate, which is the rate at which the people I send them to actually clicked on and opened the email. If my open rate was 20%, that's insanely good. That's crazy good. That's take the team out for happy hour good. The open rate for property tracker emails is 76%. It's insanely high. It's unheard of that it's that high. It's so high that when they first got that number back, the software programmers had to go back and check and make sure they didn't break something because they didn't believe it. But it's real. They've verified it multiple times. We have an insanely high open rate. The only way that open rate is going to stay as high as it is if we don't start spamming people with it. If we don't start just signing people up and sending them garbage that they don't ask for. As real estate brokers, we're always looking for reasons to reach out and call people. Asking someone if you can sign them up for a property tracker account is a great reason to pick up the phone and call. But I really don't ever want to hear that you guys are out there creating property tracker accounts for people without getting their permission first. That's not okay. So before you do that, you need to get their permission. It can be over email, it can be over the phone. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You just want their permission before you do it, okay? So up until now, I haven't created a property tracker account. In order for me to actually create the account, I have to go to Property Tracker and click Create Account. It says, are you sure you want to create a property tracker account for this contact? I'm going to say yes. And now it has logged me into Property Tracker as though I were Homer Simpson. So anything I do right now is being done as though I were Homer. So if I wanted to create a search for Homer, I can do that. And I can go up here to search homes. And I can put in whatever Homer wants. So maybe he wants that 98059 search. You know, let's actually do this. Let's say Issaquah School District. So I can actually type in Issaquah, and down here there's schools, and I can do Issaquah School District. And that'll bring up an area for Issaquah schools. Now it says here there's too many properties to show in Issaquah schools. That just means I need to narrow my criteria. So I'm going to say Issaquah schools with $1 million price range. There we go. And at least 4 bedrooms. And I want waterfront. There we go. So this is my Issaquah area school search. For some reason, I think when I zoomed out there, it picked up Mercer Island. But let's say I wanted to save this search. I can hit save, and it will allow me to save this search. I can name this search whatever I want. I can put in notes. So I can say, you know, $1 million plus, 4 bedroom, waterfront. Now there's 2 components to Property Tracker. There's the new listing notifications and there's market insights, and that's shown down here. The new listing notifications are what we traditionally think of as Property Tracker. It is the program that sends me email updates about homes that come on the market, okay? That's this first section here. When it says notify me of new listings, I can click the drop down and it will give me the option of saying how often I want my client to be notified. So I can choose immediately. So as soon as a property comes on the market, it sends an email out as right away. I can select daily, in which I will get one email a day with all of the properties that meet that criteria. It's called a digest report. So these are all the properties that came on the market that day. Weekly is the same thing. I get a digest report, but it's every week instead of every day. And bi-weekly, I get the digest report every 2 weeks. So it's just however much your client wants to actually receive those updates. Now, there's 2 ways they can choose to get notified. They can choose to get notified via email or via text. If I check both, they're going to get both. Now, one thing that has been a little bit of a struggle with property tracker accounts has been the fact that if we are dealing with a couple and they want to be using the same property tracker account, only one person gets the notifications because of the email. That's been some frustrating for some people, and I get it. We have found a little bit of a workaround here. So let's say I have a husband and wife couple. I can put in the wife as the main contact and put in her name and her email address, but I put in the husband's phone number. Then what I do is I set the new listing notifications to both. So we have the wife's email, but the husband's phone number. So then anytime a notification goes out, the wife gets it in her email and the husband gets it in their text messages. So that's a little bit of a workaround for that system. The other component of Property Tracker is Market Insights. Market Insights is a report that comes out at the beginning of every month that is only limited to the search that is saved here. So for this one, we did Issaquah School District with over $1 million, 4-bedroom waterfront. When that Market Insight report comes out, it will only be about school properties in the Issaquah School District, $1 million plus, 4-bedroom and waterfront. And it is going to be a breakdown of what's happening in the market for that, what's happening in that market area, that for all the properties that meet that criteria. It's going to tell me how many new listings there are, how many pendings there are, how many sold properties there are, what's happening with prices over the last month, what's happening with prices over the last 6 months. So it's a full breakdown of what's happening in the area. I encourage you. In fact, I'm going to basically require that you, when we're done here, you go and you create a search for yourself, I don't care where, and you sign up for Market Insights so you can see your report. When you sign up someone for Market Insights, that day, it takes a couple hours sometimes, they will receive a Market Insight report for that area that they signed up for as though it were the first of last month. They would get the report that came out on the first of, if we did it today, it'll be on August 1st. In a few days then, if we did this today, they will get a report on September 1st that covers just that area. Now, I am not required to have both of these things on for a given Property Tracker account. Maybe I have a homeowner, somebody, maybe a past client, who bought their home a couple years ago and they're really not interested in moving in the next, year or two. But that Market Insight report sounds really interesting to them because it lets them keep updated on the market. So I can set up a search and turn off the new listing notifications. That way, that client only gets the Market Insight report. Maybe I have a buyer who just bought a home and they had the new listing notifications on, but now that they just bought, they don't want to get that report every day or even every 2 weeks. So we just turn off the new listing notifications and they only get the Market Insight report for their new house. Maybe I have a buyer who just doesn't want the Market Insight report, so I can just turn off Market Insights. All right, this is an absolutely crucial component of the John L. Scott website and a crucial tool. Understanding this system is absolutely critical. What questions do you have for me about this system? Cindy, I know you were wanting me to cover this. Do you have any questions for me?
No, not at this time. It was
okay.
You explained it really well.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Daniela, Joseph, anything from you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, I'm good.
All right. Okay, we're going to move on then. I'm going to go into Cindy's account here. I'm going to hit edit on Homer, and we are going to delete Homer here because actually, yep. Homer is deleted.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
What I was wondering, you know, every month in my email, I get this market report from Shy on my house. How do I set that up? Is that what that buy side is?
That's buy side, yes.
Okay.
So that's the buy side is an AVM that's like an automated valuation metric for your property. So yeah, that is something that you would go down here to buy side. And I believe I have a buy side class coming up soon.
Okay, because I didn't sign myself up yet for buy side, you know, when I did my list.
Yeah,
So
you didn't sign yourself up?
Yeah, I didn't do it yet, but I should do that so then I can also see what my clients obviously are getting.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Collin.
No problem. I'm going to tell you here. Let's go to September. Yeah, September 17th, I'm going to do a buy-side class if you want to know more about that, Cindy.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to move on here, and we are going to move away from Property Tracker, and I want to talk about some of the tools that exist in MyDesk. Over here on the left, we have a gray bar that lists several tabs here, okay? These are all tools that exist within the John L. Scott system. So these are all things that when I click on them will take me other places in MyDesk. Down here in the quick links, I have different tools that are available with partner websites, okay? These are companies that we have partnered with to provide us services. That's everything from Cloud CMA to buy side like we were just talking about, to Bear Printing, to Trend Graphics. Virtuance is a photography company. Yeah, so all of these things are partner websites, and we're going to talk about them in the last half of class today. But first I want to talk about everything over here in the gray bar, or at least several things in the gray bar. So we talked about contacts. Your contacts are where you can input your database. You can import it using the going here to the More button. You can hit import, and it'll allow you to import a CSV file. But essentially, if I want to use any of the John L. Scott email campaign tools, I need to have people in my contacts here. Now let's talk about some of the email tools. The first thing I have here are the email templates. So these are one-time emails that I can send out to people. There are almost 1,000. There's 925 of them that are available. And these are individual emails that I can just go in and send one at a time. Some of these aren't going to be relevant to you. For example, we can go to the 2020 housing forecast, and some of these are going to be like area specific. So for example, if I click on this one, it is the 2020 housing forecast for Bend, Oregon. Okay, you guys don't necessarily need to be sending out the Bend, Oregon housing forecast. Okay, But they do exist in other areas. I can go here and I can click in emails for buy side. And I have these emails that I can send out to my client that are all about buy side, the program Cindy was talking about. We have a COVID section for you to be able to send out emails about COVID and how COVID's affecting the market and ways to meet virtually, like let's have a virtual coffee. There are also information on the on housing updates. So the housing updates are, let's go back to August here. Housing updates are emails that are created by corporate with a message from Lennox that cover pretty much every county and some smaller areas within Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. So for example, if I want to know what's happening on the east side, or I want to send an update to clients who live in Bellevue or Redmond or Kirkland, I can click on East Side Housing Update. And this is an email that is that would go out, and it would talk about what's happening in that specific market. And the messages are written every month. The data that's presented might be slightly different every month, depending on what's happening in the market. But it is branded to you. It has your contact information and your website. Anybody who replies to it, the email would come back to you. If they click here on download the app, it would be your branded app. There's lots of different, all of this ties back to you. It doesn't go back to anybody generically. So that's available as well. There are seasonal updates, so I can go down here to seasonal. So here's the seasonal August emails. It's all about grilling and watermelon and barbecue. I can also go to the September ones, and these are ones that are good to send out in September, Labor Day, National Good Neighbor Day, all that. So this can go out in September. When it states app, is that email or phone app? For the app, Cindy, it would be the John L. Scott app, your app. So the app that you download to a mobile device. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
I had a quick question again. So if they
Yeah.
want email, not an app, then it would just go to their email, correct?
What do you mean when you say they want email? Do you mean with Property Tracker?
I'm looking at all these email templates, and when you were clicking on them to send them, it stated
Oh,
app.
okay. So if I'm looking here at the app at the bottom, this is a link for them to download your app. So they
Okay,
would
that's
get
for
this
their phone.
right. So they would get this email, they'd be reading it, and they'd see, oh, Cindy has a John L. Scott app. I'm going to click on that,
Okay.
and it will take them a page to download your app. This doesn't
Okay.
appear on the, this can't appear on the app. That's not a feature of the app.
Okay, because I had somebody question me about an app when they were signing up for, on the buy side, and it said something about the app. So they don't have to do the app. They'll still continue getting those emails.
Correct. The app, actually, so the app itself is sort of more of a search tool and
Correct.
not a replacement for the emails.
I
Even
got
if you have the app, the emails don't come through the app.
Right, it just coincides with the program.
Correct. Yeah, it's more of a convenience thing. Really, the thing that it's best for is somebody's out driving around and, oh, check out that house. And you can pull up the app, and since it knows where you are,
Right.
it will be able to show you that house that you've just driven up to.
Okay, yeah, because it was
Yeah.
confusing when she said, I don't want this app, I don't want it on my phone. I really didn't know what she was talking about. Now I get it.
Yeah,
It's in addition if you want it.
correct. Yeah, there's nobody has to have an app.
Okay, thank you, Collin.
Yep. Okay, so these are the email templates, and there's a lot of them, as you can see. But I don't have to worry about sending these out every single month. For that, we have campaigns. So email campaigns are a program that you sign your clients up for, where they are automatically sent emails every month, okay? There's a couple different types of campaigns. First of all, there's the seasonal one. This is sort of your basic seasonal campaign. So what this does is when you sign up somebody for the seasonal campaign, they are sent every month, at least, it's roughly once a month, sometimes it's less. They get a bunch of emails about whatever is happening that month. So for example, on July 31st, they got a Happy New Year message. On Valentine's Day, they got a Valentine's Day message, and then another one on St. Patrick's Day, and then Earth Day, and Memorial Day, and summer's here, and happy 4th of July, and it's barbecue season. And I imagine that in September, they're going to get something about maybe Labor Day, or it's fall, or football season, or something like that. These emails are constantly restocked by our marketing department. They're fairly generic, but they're a nice drip campaign to have somebody on. And it's just a quick reminder email. And when you sign somebody up for a campaign like this, they just get kind of whatever comes out. To sign somebody up for a campaign here, you go here to recipients and you click add. I click next. And then I can go in here and add people by checking their name or searching for them by first name, last name, email address. And I can just put a check next to their name and they would be added to that campaign, and they would get an email as soon as the next email was programmed to be sent to go out. So by adding somebody to this campaign, it's sort of set it and forget it. Once I add somebody, they are going to be continuously getting that stream of email that comes out. I don't have to think about adding them every month. The seasonal campaign is great, but where we really shine with this, I think, are in the housing update campaigns. So the housing update campaigns are where I can sign somebody up for a housing update campaign based upon the area they live in, and they would get updates every single month with what's happening in that particular market. So for example, we talked about the East Side. If I have somebody living in Bellevue, I can add them to the East Side housing update, and they would get added to every single month. They get the East Side housing update emailed to them without me having to do anything. Okay, it just comes out. We also have the luxury housing update that's branded for Exceptional Homes. Exceptional Homes is our luxury marketing program. To be a part of it, you generally have to be the property has to be over $1 million. So if you have people who are buying in that $1 million plus price range, or have a home in that $1 million plus price range, I would maybe think about adding them to the luxury version of that market update. Not every area has a luxury and a regular housing update. There's certain areas that only have luxury. For example, there is a Mercer Island, or is it? Yeah, Mercer Island luxury housing update. Pretty much if you have a home on Mercer Island, it's over $1 million anyway, so it's all luxury on Mercer Island. So they only have the luxury for Mercer Island. There's other ones that are, for example, Lake Washington waterfront luxury housing. So if somebody has a waterfront property on Lake Washington, this is just that luxury section. For the most part, the housing updates come by county, except for King County. Okay? For King County, it's divided into 4 areas. East Side, which we've talked about, which is everything that's basically on the east side of Lake Washington. Seattle, which is everything that's on the west side of Lake Washington. And then Southwest King County and Southeast King County for everything that is south of East Side in Seattle, and it breaks it down East and West Side. All of the other areas, you have a Snohomish County update, a Pierce County update, Mason County. It's all basically by county. What I would do here is I would get all of my people who are on, let's say, in Southeast King County. I would scroll down to Southeast here. And I would click Use Campaign. And I would go through and I would check all the people that are living in Southeast King County. That's basically everybody in King County who is, it's east of 167 and south of Newcastle. So it's like Renton, south, and then east of 167. And I can go through and upload my database and check all that. And then I go through and I do the same thing for Southwest and Seattle and East Side and Pierce and whoever I have and wherever I have them, I want to try to get them assigned. If you want help with this, you can talk to either Katie or Sadie, because we are going through and we are currently helping brokers get their database added to the housing updates. The catch there is you have to have an organized database. It has to be like in an Excel file or Outlook or something where we can download it and work with it, okay? We are very flexible in that, and we can help you out with it, and we can do a lot of heavy lifting, but we're not making your database for you. Okay, you've already got to have that, and then we'll help you from there. So if you want more information on how to do that, talk to Sadie, talk to Katie. Do you guys have any questions about the campaigns? No?
When we have, I do have one quick question.
Okay.
When we do have all of our contacts in, you know, that Sadie put in maybe, then we can go in and kind of tweak it and change people around.
If you want to, yeah. If you had somebody who was, for example, if we had them assigned to Southwest, but you wanted to get this, you wanted them to get the South King County luxury,
Mm-hmm.
what you do is you go to your campaign. It would actually be, here, let me activate one real quick.
Is there a map? Because whenever we did all of this, I don't remember anybody telling us, like what you just described, you know, south, east would be the...
Yeah. Basically, Cindy, it's all of the 300s in the MLS. So all of the 300 areas are Southeast King County. All of the 100 areas are like south, the 110, 120, 130 are Southwest.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the rest of it, it's just, if it's in Seattle, it's Seattle. If it's on the east side, it's east side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. However, if you did want, Sadie has a menu. Basically, we went through and we kind of filtered out a bunch of stuff here, like who cares about Lynn Benton County? I don't even know where that is. But we got all the regional ones together, and we've got like, here are all the areas you can get the luxury housing updates, and here are all the areas you can get the regular housing updates, and how they're kind of defined. So if you want to talk to Sadie about that, you can ask her for that, and she can send that over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I had a quick question too on that. I'm sorry. I had a client that built a brand new home.
Uh-huh.
And I guess he's not, I can't put him on the campaign because maybe county doesn't have his new home in there for taxation, but he's wanting to sell it next year. So
this shouldn't be connected to that. This is just where you sign them up.
yeah, well,
Because like if they live in Seattle, but they want to get East Side housing updates because that's where they want to move, I just sign up their email for it. It's not connected to like tax records or anything.
okay, so what that is probably on that buy side.
Yes, buy side would be affected by that. That's going to be based on, so
I'm sorry.
buy side, it uses a couple different valuation metrics,
Yeah.
but if the valuation metric isn't updated on the property and the tax records aren't up to date yet, there's nothing we can do. It's just,
Right.
we got to wait for the other, like, for example, the Zillow is one of the metrics.
Right, right.
Until Zillow picks up the property, we can't have a Zillow's estimate on there.
Okay, so for him, because he's blank right now, I can't get anything for the buy side. I could shoot him over a campaign, but he's in Suncadia. He's on the other side.
Suncadia, Idaho?
No, I'm sorry, Washington, over by Cleellum.
Okay, I think there's a
Oh,
Cleellum one.
So I could probably send him something from this system, so I could.
Yeah,
get
do you know what county that is?
I don't remember.
It would be by county over there, Kittitas.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a Kittitas County one. J-K, Kittitas.
It is. So
Yep,
then
right there.
I could send that over to him.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to move on from email campaigns, and I want to talk about the John L. Scott Library. So the John L. Scott Library is a fantastic system with a bunch of information in it that is really relevant to you. In the past, it's been really hard to find things in here because it's been so overloaded with information. But the good news is we have it sorted better now, and we have a search feature. So I want to show you around here a little bit, and I want you to just know that this is a reference section that is here for you. So for example, let's say that I have a client who is thinking about selling a property and you think it would qualify for exceptional homes. Well, if I want to get more information about exceptional homes, I can come here to the John L. Scott Library and go to exceptional homes. Once it loads up, it'll have it like folders here like a computer would. And I've got a general guide for exceptional homes that I could read. But then I've got information about luxury advertising, luxury listing presentations, luxury market trends, luxury program information. All of this stuff is available here for me to read and reference later on. If I want to know more about, marketing, I can click on marketing, and I've got it broken down into different sections. I've got housing forecasts. I've got information about the buyer presentations. I've got information on COVID-19. So if I want to know, if I want COVID-19 specific marketing, I can click here. If I need information on logos because I want to make a flyer, I can click here. If I need information on social media stuff, I can click here, and it will have information about social media. Let's say that I don't even know where to look for something. Let's say I want to look for a listing presentation. Well, I can come up here to the search document library and I can type in listing presentation and hit enter. And it will search for all things listing presentation. And it takes a little while, especially when I'm teaching a class. And it's going to give me a bunch of stuff here. But it's all sorted into what I want. So for example, here's a folder, seller presentation resources. So I click on that, and it takes me to the section where I've got a bunch of seller presentation resources. So I've got listing launch information, feedback, all that stuff. But also, I've got it's got me where it is here, so I can click here and click back a level. And here's the actual selling your home guide, the listing presentations. So this is a really great reference guide for you. It doesn't replace me, it doesn't replace Shy or Katie or anything like that. But this is a great place to start when you're trying to figure something out. Especially if it's, we're not available. I don't work at 10 o'clock at night. Sorry, guys. But if you want information on technology, if you need to figure out how to do something, I can click over here on technology, and it's got information on buy side. So Cindy, if you wanted to read up on buy side before the class, there's a resource for you. I've got how-to guides for MyDesk, or how-to guides for videos, or how-to guides for Zoom. But these are all great places to start and kind of get yourself going. The more you try to help yourself, the easier it is for us to help you, because then we're answering specific questions about what you're trying to do and your goal, rather than trying to give you a general overview of this, big topic. Okay. Questions about the library? Okay. Talk about website designer. The website designer is where you go to build your website. So close your eyes, you didn't see this. Okay. If you have never done anything with your website before, this is what you're going to see. This means you have the default site template. Okay. The default site template is your website, quote unquote, out of the box. It is your website with you having done nothing to it. And so to give you an idea what that looks like, we'll look at mine. And this is what my default website looks like. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly serviceable website. Okay. By the way, if you're following along at this point, I'd like you to stop and just watch for a minute here. So if you're trying to follow along on another monitor or you're doing this yourself, stop right now, because this can get really weird if you don't, okay? If I am wanting to make changes to my website, I can go down here and I can hit the Customize button, and it's going to ask me what website template I would like to choose. I have three options. Okay, I have what's called a search template, I have what's called an agent template, and I have what's called a luxury template. Okay, let's take a look at the search template first. This looks very similar to the default website. This is an image of what a search website might look like. It has your photo up here, and the first thing you see on the page is the search. Okay, I've got some other stuff down here about property tracker and some basics on navigating the real estate market, and maybe some properties, things like that. Those are all customizable. We'll see that in a second. But the first thing I see on the page is search. All right. The agent and luxury options, I tend to refer to as the branded options, because the focus is on the agent's brand. Really, the only difference between the agent and the luxury options is the luxury option has a little bit of boilerplate built in about exceptional homes. But let's take a look at this real quick here. When I click on this, the first thing I see is the broker's name and contact information. There's an option to also upload a photo here. So the first thing you see is about the broker and about the broker's brand. Okay. Down here on I have some information about property tracker, the mobile app, and then here is the search. So search hasn't gone away on the branded option. It's just not the first thing you see. When I look here on luxury, it's the similar situation. First thing is about the broker. I've got some search options here, and there's a big chunk about exceptional homes, which is the luxury program. So with all of these, there's no right answer to which one you would use. It's up to you and what you want the focus to be. Do you want the first thing that brokers see to be home search? Or do you want the first thing that brokers see to be your branding? There's no right answer to that question. Now, once I pick one of these, I can change back and forth. However, when I change back and forth, I lose any changes that I have made. So let's say I start out here on the agent option, and I put in a bunch of work and I realize, you know what, now that I think about it more, I really want the search option instead. It is possible to switch, but all that customization, all those changes that you have made are lost, and you have to start over from scratch, and there's nothing I can do about that. okay? I'm going to go ahead and hit the search option here. Again, I think you should just be watching this part. I don't want you doing this. And I'm going to hit the save button. Now, I'm going to tell you here, I'm not going to really talk too much about the customizing here other than just showing you kind of generically how to do it, because I literally teach two-hour classes on this tool. So this can be like a 4 or 5 hour class unto itself. There's a lot going on here and I don't have time to cover it today. But when I come in here, notice that I have this column here where it says home, search, buying a house, selling a house, about me, contact me. When I go to my website, running across the top, I have this thing that says home, search, buying a house, selling a house, about me, contact me. These right here are these tabs running at the top. These tabs I can change. I can hit add here and I can add other tabs that add in other pages, maybe links to other sites, things like that. But I'd like to show you something, okay? I don't know how well this is going to show up on Zoom. I've never tried this before on Zoom, so we'll just have to kind of see how it goes here. Do you see how across the top here, I've got all of these tabs listed out? Well, that's because I'm on a big old screen right now. I've got a pretty wide monitor in my office. If I had a smaller monitor, or I were on a laptop or a tablet or even a phone, that's going to shrink down. And we have what's called reactive website design, so that the website reacts to whatever browser it's being viewed on and what size of screen it's being viewed on. So if I were to shrink the screen size down, I want you to watch what happens to these tabs up here. Okay, when I shrink this down, I don't know if you were able to see me shrink it or not, but do you notice how the tabs disappeared and I got this little 3-line menu up here? This is called a hamburger menu, okay, because of the 3, it looks like a hamburger, I guess. And I click on it and there my drop downs are, okay? Were you guys able to see that going from tabs to the hamburger menu?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. For some brokers, it's really important that they not have the hamburger menu. Okay. I can't promise you that you're never going to get it because I can't promise you what size screen somebody's going to look at your website on. We have no control over that. Okay. But if you want to make the hamburger menu less likely to appear, excuse me, if you want to make the hamburger menu less likely to appear, you need to minimize these tabs and make sure that the titles right here are as short as possible. So maybe I change buying a house to just buying, or selling a house to just selling. And I make sure that I don't have really long titles in there. I got to be honest with you, I don't care if the hamburger menu shows up personally. That's just my personal preference. But if it's something that's important to you, those are things to keep in mind. In addition, when I have clicked on one of these pages, over here on the right, I sort of see this column with rectangles in it. Okay, I've got this rectangle here, this rectangle, this rectangle, this rectangle. When I'm back at my website, do you see how it's set up in sort of these rectangles here? I've got this one up top here. I've got the next one down here. I've got this one there. That's what I can click to configure here. So I can click tap to configure, and it lets me edit that section. And I can edit this section here. Then when I go down to the next one, it lets me edit the section below that. And I can go and keep clicking these to edit those areas. And it's the same on any of these sites that I'm at. I've got these rectangles, and I need to click edit to edit those individual sections. Okay, does that make sense? I hope. when I am done with this and I want, excuse me, I'm going to take that back. The way that I recommend that you guys build out your site is to have you come in and spend some time playing with each profile. Come in and play with the search, play with the agent, play with the luxury, and just tweak it a little bit, okay? None of your changes will go live unless you hit the publish button up here at the top, okay? You come in, you play, and you get an idea for what you want. You figure out what your ideal website looks like, what profile you want to use. Maybe you're looking at other brokers' websites and you see some stuff that you'd like to copy on yours. I don't want to hear you actually plagiarizing and like copying stuff, but if you want to take some inspiration, that's fine. But every time you come in and you make those little changes and you just play around a little bit, you want to reset your website until you are ready to work on your final website. To reset your website, you go up here to the top and you click the reset button. Remember, when I reset my website, I lose everything. Any changes I made are gone forever, okay? So I'm going to come up here to hit reset, and it says, are you sure you want to reset your site to original defaults? I'm going to say yes, and then it says, please confirm you want to revert your site to original defaults. Enter the name of your website exactly as appears below to confirm you want to revert your site to its original default. This is a belt and suspenders approach to make sure you don't accidentally flush your website down the toilet, okay? However, it's a little confusing. The very first time I worked with this website, when it came out, I spent 2 hours staring at this screen trying to figure out what it's asking me to do. It's asking me to type the word search, okay? If I had picked a luxury website, it would say luxury. If I had picked agent, it would say agent. So basically, to reset it, I have to type whatever is in green right there. So I'm going to type in the word search, confirm revert, and I am back to that default template.
So
Right.
what you're meaning is, let's say if I'm on luxury right now and I
Yes.
want to go in and I want to go into the generic, so to speak, search, then I'm going to want to reset and redo it.
If you want to make that change, yes.
So I can't just all of a sudden switch it from luxury to search.
You
Then I'm
can
gonna-
switch it, but all of your customization is lost.
Right. And then I have to reload it, as you just showed us.
You manually reload it, meaning like go in and like retype everything, reset up my display for listings, all that stuff, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
If you've spent a lot of time on your website and you want to make a change like that, I would talk to me first and see if there's maybe a way that we can accomplish your goal without actually resetting it. Because I can actually go in and it's goofy and weird, but I can kind of make an agent or luxury look like the search and vice versa.
Okay.
It can be a little bit goofy, but it is possible to tweak that if you have a bunch of stuff that you've worked on.
Okay. Well, this was a long time ago when this first came out, and John L. Scott taught us, and we did it in class as we were going along.
Right.
So
So
that's
yeah,
why
if there's nothing that you want to preserve, or you just see yourself putting in a bunch of work on it no matter what, then maybe hitting reset isn't the worst option.
okay. I'll
Yeah.
look it over then, and
Yeah.
if anything, I'll make an appointment with you or something.
That
Thank you.
works great.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so that covers what I wanted to cover today in the gray bar here. I want to talk about this dashboard section down here, however. These quick links here I want to talk about briefly. So these are partner websites, and I can literally teach classes on each one of these buttons. So I just want to give you a brief overview of what's here, of a couple things. First of all, this is a recent development. John L. Scott partnered with Virtuance. Virtuance is a company that, as an office, as the Renton office, we've been working with for quite some time. As a company, John L. Scott actually just got on board with them, and they are offering some John L. Scott based discounts here on pricing. So even if you've been, like Cindy, if you've been using Virtuance for a while, it's a good idea to look at the John L. Scott stuff because it just got cheaper. But Virtuance is a program. They're a photography company that will come out and they will do photography, 3D tours, Matterport, drone photography, things like that for your listings. And then they will host virtual tours, Matterport in such a way that it can be shared to the MLS and comply with their rules. So if I want to know more about that, I can click the Virtuance tile. And I can sign up as a new user from here. And because I am on the John L. Scott section, it will remember that I am John L. Scott. If I already have an account, I can click I'm a Virtuance client and sign in, and it will apply the pricing discounts to me. If I go up here to pricing, I don't know if this is going to show us the, yeah, so if I click on pricing like that, this pricing that you would see here would not be the John L. Scott discounted pricing. For that, you want to sign in and then go to pricing. Okay, but
So
this is some, go ahead, Cindy.
Okay. Do we need a code or anything, or it just already knows who we are?
You're on this, if you come here and you click this link, you are on the John L. Scott link up here.
So it already knows our
And
price.
if I sign up from this link, I have to be coming from this link,
Correct.
then I get the special pricing.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so that's Virtuance. Another company that I want to point out here is Bear Printing. Bear Printing is a company that we have partnered with for printing flyers, postcards, things like that. You don't have to use them, but there are certain things that you might want to go through them for. For example, if you want to get some branded hand sanitizer, you can do that. If you want to get some branded face masks, you can do that as well. This is where you can order perma flyers. If you haven't seen a perma flyer before, it's like a, I think it's 14 by 20. It's pretty big, but it's a plastic flyer that is attached to your for sale sign. So instead of having a bunch of paper flyers that the 13-year-old kids in the neighborhood come and throw around and, you know, just throw into puddles because they think it's fun, you have a flyer that is actually bolted to the sign, so anybody who drives up will be able to see the information. This is where I can also purchase printed buyer guides, printed selling your home guides. It's where the presentation boxes come from. Yeah. Also on here is a great program, the Automated Every Neighbor Postcard Campaign. This is a really cool program that you can come here and configure. So to configure it, I click on this link, and I am able to put in some preferences here. And what this program is about is I come in here and I set my preferences, and then anytime I take a listing, I get an email from Bear Printing saying, do you want to send out just listed cards? And I click yes on it, and it already has my preferences built in here. So it knows how many I want to send out. It knows what radius I want to send it to. It's got my credit card information. It's got my preferences for paper and postage. And it will send out, just by me clicking yes, I want to send it out, just listed cards based on my preferences here. So right now it would send out 50 just listed cards within 2 miles of my property. Then when it goes pending, I get the same email and it sends out 50 just pending cards. And when it sells, I send out 50 just sold. It asks my permission every time, so I have to go in and click that email that I get. But it's already got everything on file, and it just sends it out without me having to really lift a finger. And it's a great way to get those mailers out. And you know how much it's going to cost because your paper and postage down here lets you know how many you're going to send out. So if I use the least expensive here, the flat finish, 66 cents, if I send out 50, I know that it's going to cost $33. And that's with postage costs on here, by the way. That's per card. I do kind of want to caution you with all the postage, post office stuff you've probably been hearing in the news. For marketing mail or third class is what that is, or bulk mail, we have been hearing that it is taking about 15 days for that to, from the time it hits the post office to the time it gets to your client. Apparently it's fairly low priority with what's going on right now. So something to keep in mind if you are sending these out, that with 15 days, they may get a just listed and it's already been pending for, you know, 7 or 10 days. So something to think about if you are picking these right here. Let's see. Cloud CMA, that's here. You can click on that. Cloud CMA is a class that I teach classes on every couple months. But basically, it is a way to create reports. Of course, it creates a cloud CMA, an actual CMA. There's a buyer tour as well. There is a property report. There's a property flyer. And there's also a new live version that's available that is designed for you doing a listing presentation specifically over Zoom. So that's another feature here as well. We'll probably be doing classes on those in October. If you don't want to wait and you want to find out more about this and see some how-tos, you can come into Cloud CMA, and on the far right here, you've got your initials. You click on your initials, and there is this section on Learning Resources and Support Center. When I click Learning Resources, it's going to give me a bunch of videos about how this works, and how to create a property report, how to create a flyer, how to customize your Cloud CMA report. All of these are videos here that show you how to do what you need to do. And they're available for you.
How did you get there again?
So I clicked on Cloud CMA right here to get into Cloud CMA. And then in the upper right corner, I've got this green circle with my initials. I click on that and I go to Learning Resources.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. All right. Last thing I want to talk about here down on the tiles is this buy side right here. Buy side is something that is already built into your websites to a certain degree. So I'm going to pick on Cindy here again. And it doesn't matter whose website I go to, but for Cindy, I go here and I have the Get Your Home Valuation Report. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to take me to a page here where I can put in information. So I'm going to put in this address here. This is one that I was looking up for somebody the other day. And when I see the property, the address populate here, I can click on it. Cindy, you're about to get an email that somebody is looking up this property. That's me. And it can take a second to load. And when it does, what I've got here are 3 valuation reports. One comes from Zillow, one comes from Home Valuation, and one comes from eAppraisal. So, as you can see, this is a pretty wide range. It goes all the way from, you know, the lowest here is 557, all the way up to 743. And this is good for us because it creates confusion in the minds of clients, because this is basically what a robot is telling them their price is worth, or their home is worth. If they want a better, more accurate, in-depth report, they come here and they have to contact Cindy, or they can receive monthly updates by putting in their first name, last name, and email address, and they'll get an update on this. Or they can say, I am the owner. And when they click on that, it asks them to verify ownership with their Facebook, Google, or LinkedIn profile. And when they click any of these orange buttons, these are all things that come back to Cindy. So if they want an in-depth valuation report, we click Contact Cindy, they put in their information, Cindy gets an email. When I say I'm the owner, I have to put in my Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn, Cindy gets an email with my Facebook, Google, or LinkedIn.
What if the people don't have one of those links of Google, Facebook?
They wouldn't be able to do it then.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So that's only for the only ones that require those are the I am the owner and the anything that says I am the owner, it's one of those three.
Uh-huh.
Any other contact points on here are all basically give me your phone number, your email.
Okay, so they just don't need to click on that. They can still get it. You don't.
Yeah,
just
exact. Yes, yes,
click
yeah.
on I am the owner. Okay.
Yeah, that's just for quote unquote claiming the property.
I gotcha. Okay, it's
Yeah.
not necessary. Thank you.
Yep. So this is something that you can promote. You can send out an email to people by sending out this address right up here. So it's your website /home-valuation.com. So if I want it for my website, I put in collin.johnlscott.com and it will be Collin's home valuation, not Cindy's. And if Daniela does hers, it's Daniela's home valuation. And if Joe does his, it's Joe's home valuation. So that's something that you can promote. Again, I'm teaching a class on buy side on the 17th of next month. So if you want to find out more about that, that's a class you want to be on. So that was what I wanted to cover today about MyDesk. Any questions about MyDesk specifically about the things that I covered or didn't cover? We good?
It was very good.
We're good. Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you, Colin.
Yep. All right. I am going to unfortunately have to cut this short. I will be doing another class on Skyslope specifically. There's supposed to be another 30 minutes left on this class, but I have gotten an email that I need to be on a John L. Scott event, unfortunately. So when I will be emailing Daniela and Joe. Cindy, do you want the Skyslope class?
No, I don't need that one. This is the
Okay.
one with the refresh.
I'll be emailing you, Daniela and Joe, to reschedule specifically the Skyslope portion of today's class because I have to be on a call here in 5 minutes.
You're gonna be doing the class anyways in the future, right?
Yes,
Which is gonna
absolutely,
be more
yeah.
in depth.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's gonna, I can just join the class that it would be more in depth anyway, so that's okay.
Okay, that's perfect. So if there aren't any more questions, I am going to go ahead and wrap up class today. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope this was helpful for you.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you
Thank
too.
you.
Bye-bye.